what the difference was in a transgression and a sin. And pretty much, they're almost the same thing. Almost. You see, a transgression is breaking the law. That's a transgression. But a sin, that's the one that's got a little extra, little spice to it. A sin is when you are disobedient to a law or a command that has been given to you by God. Now, I want you to listen to this carefully. It's about the same thing, but sin's a little more personal, you know. And as I was reading through John, that is the Gospel of John, I knew that Jesus, before he left, prayed to the Father over them guys, and he prayed and talked to them about abiding in Christ, to remain in him, and to let them walk in love as he has loved them. Now, you know, I want you to go back to where all this began. And God made Adam and Eve and put them in a perfect setting we know as the Garden of Eden. And God put a tree in the midst called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now I want you to think of this now. If God would not have put that tree there and then gave the command, do not eat of that tree. You can eat of every tree, but not that one. See, if God would not have done that, we would still be in the Garden of Eden. But there's a problem with that scenario. Here's the problem. If God would not have given or had allowed an opportunity for Adam and Eve to disobey him, then I want you to think of that. If God would not have given Adam and Eve the ability to disobey, then Adam and Eve would have been nothing more than just robots. You know, how would you like? How would you know? There's no way out. And if God would not have put the tree there, and see, the sin was not the tree. The sin was the disobedience. If God would have said you can eat of every tree and you can eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, it wouldn't have been a sin. Sin is disobedience. Sin is disobedience. And you know, the Bible, God plainly says that obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. It is better to obey God in his eyes. He would rather you obey than to give a sacrifice. He just wants you to obey him. You know, you show your parents you love them by obeying them. You show your boss man that you are a good worker by following the rules and completing the task the way he asks you to. You go off and do something that's out of what your boss man wants you to do, you might get yourself terminated. You may get fired because you're not following what you're supposed to do. I remember one time, my first job, I was working at this meat packing plant, and my boss man told me to clean the floors. So I started cleaning the floors. And this worker in my department came over there and said, you can do that later. Come over here and help me shovel this meat into this bin. So I set down my squeegee mop and went over there and started helping him. Oh my goodness, that boss man come in there. I was only like 18 or no, I think I was 18 years old. Yeah, I was 18. That boss man come in there. His name was Ernie. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, Tommy over here told me to." He said, "I don't care, come with me." I didn't know what that man's going to do. He took me into his office, he wrote me up, he said, "Boy, let me tell you something. If I ever tell you to do something again, you stay doing it until I stop you. You understand?" I said, "Yes, sir, Mr. Ernie." I mean, that taught me a lesson. Son, when the boss man tells you to do it, you stay on it until he stops you, or either you're done with it. Now I want you to think about what the devil did. While Adam and Eve was in the garden, God told them if they eat that tree, they will surely die. And that was true. If they ate of that tree, they would die right then spiritually, which means it would sever the relationship, the connection they had with God. It killed them spiritually, that spiritual connection. And eventually, many hundreds of years later, it eventually killed them physically. And the devil comes along and says, "Oh, now, did God really say you would die? You will not die if you eat the tree, but your eyes will be open." Now, that was a half truth. Yeah, they didn't die that day, but they did die spiritually that day. And their eyes were open. I reckon so. They became sinners right then. What was the sin? Was it eating? No. Jesus, or God, the Father, could have said to Adam and Eve, "Do not touch the tree." He could have said, "Don't come within an arm's length of the tree." And if they would have done that, it would have been a sin. God put forth the command. They broke the command, and that was the sin. Not the tree, not the eating of the tree, of the fruit, but breaking the command that God set forth. Now, let's go forward to when Jesus was here. He gave those men a list of things they were to do. And if they would not have done it, they would have been disobedient to God. Jesus told them to abide in him. Jesus told them, "I am the vine, you are the branch. Without me, you cannot do anything." Those that do not obey Jesus Christ, they wither, they dry up, they are gathered up, and they are cast into outer darkness. Come to 2019. Let me tell you this. You can walk away from Jesus Christ. You can denounce Christ. You can do it because I've talked to people that's done it. You can be like the prodigal son. And what do you think Jesus is trying to share there? You're in the Father's house. You can walk away and get out in the world. If you come to your senses, you can come back and he will accept you back. But while you're out in the world, I'm telling you, if you're out in the world, my friend, living and breaking the commands that Christ, Peter, Paul, and all the rest of them have set forth for us to live, you will find yourself left behind. Think for 1 minute that you're going to be living in sin and the rapture takes place and you're going to go in the rapture. All I can say is, God help you, because that ain't going to happen. Jesus says, "Pray that you are found worthy." And if you think living in sin, when the trumpet of God sounds, is a way to be worthy, a way to be found worthy by Jesus when he comes back, oh no. That little person over here that's praying, studying, reading his Bible, asleep, and then you better wake up and realize Jesus ain't playing. Obedience is better than sacrifice.